Happy 2026, everyone. I'm pretty excited about the journey we're going to go on this year, exploring the names of God through art. So thanks for joining us, and I thought today I'd do a little video about prepping for this journey. Please don't feel intimidated. I'm going to throw a lot of examples out here. Use the supplies that you have at home. Use the supplies that you are familiar with, or go out on a branch and try something new. You can make this deck of cards any way you want. You can make it on small pieces or big pieces. You can do it in your journal. You can make it as bookmarks. You could make it as flashcard type cards. You could make them all totally different. You could make them all very cohesive. This is your deck. This is your time with God. Let's get to know who He is in the greater scheme of things and very personally to us, and see how that transforms how we see ourselves, the world, others, and God. This is a topic I've been kind of curious about for a long time and been collecting books and little Bible studies through the internet and suggestions from friends and other people about books to gather. I saw a list online the other day, and I will link it here below. There are 900 names for God or Jesus in the Bible. 900. That feels really intimidating to start looking at. There's others that are like a 30-day, I got this one from the Navigators, just a 30-day study, free resource, and it has like 1 or 2 sentences and a Bible passage to look up about 30 different names. So you can go something like that, and then you can get all these different books. This one is actually, I think I inherited this from someone's library or through Shopfind or something, from 1976, Bible study on the person of Jesus. These next 3 I actually put in the suggested reading on the Amazon list, and I'll put these other books if I can find them. I will also put them on the shopping list just so you can find them easy if you want them. This one's 52 names in Hebrew. I thought it might be interesting to jump back and get back to the root language of the Bible. This one's 100 names and attributes of Jesus. So it goes into the character. I should show you the insides of these. I think they're really pretty. And it shows you how to write the word in Hebrew. This is like a 1-page devotional Bible verse. I write in them. I make them my own. I hope you guys feel free to do that when you buy books. Mark them up. Show that you've been there. Mark your journey. Write your own notes. Write your own prayers. Write in there. It's your book. Make it yours. And record the journey. Let's see. Christopher Hudson's 100 Names and Attributes of Jesus. Also, really, I like books when they're pretty. I don't know about you. Visual, right? So it's got the English, the Hebrew. I think sometimes he puts the Greek word in here, if I'm remembering right, when I was reading the intro. A verse, a little devotional, a good question to ponder about the name and how it interacts with you personally. A prayer, and a few Bible verses to take it a little bit deeper. So this one is really focused on Jesus. Anne Spangler. This is her 3rd book on this kind of topic, and I'm glad this kind of combines her other 2 books, she said. And it's a 52-week study. So this definitely goes in deeper. For the first word, for week 1, she looks at God, mighty creator. 2 different ways of writing it. I think this, putting it in the Hebrew language, just adds a little artsy thing, so I'll probably definitely be doing that on my cards. So she has several days. Slide this over for you. So Elohim, like, she goes in and she makes in bold in the scripture. Then she's got some really good questions. Prayer. Promises of that name. And some more like reflection or prompts for deeper study and really making it your own. And what does this name mean to you personally? So I just did the first week. I'm quite enjoying this book. Call Signs by Jennifer Wake. I thought it was interesting to read her introduction about how she came to write this book, and her husband is in the military, and so she talks about call signs that the military have for each other. They don't get to pick their own, so it's not like a nickname. It designates their position, their area of responsibility and authority, and only the people that know you best can decide on your call name. So that was an interesting thing just in my mind for frame of reference. Names are call signs. So the first one that she goes into is also Elohim, creator. And she's got pictures in here. So a bunch of writing, much more writing than the other couple books I showed you. But good things to ponder, scripture and writing. It's nice to hear someone else's perspective. She's got bold statements in here, or they're in bold. They make it really clear about what the name means. A prayer, some questions for discussion or for your own personal reflection, and space for notes. This book I had actually forgotten. I had bought this a while ago. Rediscovering the God You Thought You Knew. The Unexplainable Jesus by Erica. This is an 8-week study on the book of Luke about Jesus. I'm really looking forward to digging into this. Sometimes I don't want to read the introduction, but I have found that it is actually pretty helpful in setting the stage. So she's got like a 2-page study, questions, and she's got a couple pages here for each day of the week. So take your time. If you get this one, take your time going through it. But so far what I've read here, I'm quite enjoying. There's this one that is 40 Reasons to Trust God. It's a kid's book, yes. Bible stories, devotions, and prayers about the names of God. And I've got to show you because I love a beautiful book. So much color, really, to like engage adults and kids alike. And never feel embarrassed or ashamed if you get a kid's book to use as your Bible study. He asks us to come to him as children. And sometimes the books in more simple language actually, I think, get to the heart of things differently and can give you more space to let it sink into your heart and let God show up in a new way. You don't need to get all these books. This series is about letting God speak to your heart, about encountering him in a new way, not about gaining all sorts of intellectual knowledge, not about being able to recount all of the Greek or Hebrew words and the theology and philosophy of it. I think that can all be really helpful, but please don't be overwhelmed by that. Find a book you like if you want a book. Otherwise, Googling the different names of God, using Bible Gateway or Bible Hub. There's so many free resources out there. Use your own Bible and quiet times of prayer to let God remind you of who he is. And this is an interesting one. What does your Jesus look like? By Scott Stearman. He's a sculptor. And one of the questions he asks in the beginning is, what kind of Jesus are you sculpting with your life? If people are watching you and you're the only Jesus that they see, how are your responses to things revealing who Jesus is? So a little bit different angle from the other books. I'll put all of these for your convenience in the Amazon shopping cart I've got, along with different supplies that I'm going to show you in just a minute here. And along the way, as I come across other resources, videos, songs, little free handouts or links, whatever, I will put those at the end of videos so that you can gather them in one place. I just want to really make this easy for you to sink in to time with God every week with your art supplies and let him speak afresh who he is to you. Okay, let's look at some supply options. And I definitely want to repeat that again to you guys. Options. Never feel like you have to do everything that I suggest or buy everything I suggest. I don't ever want anybody to feel like I'm telling you exactly what to do and how to do it. I very much like being more ambiguous, more open-ended, and giving you space to create with God in your way and to make this really personal. It's not about creating some masterful piece of art that will go in a gallery or be posted on the internet or be displayed up in church. It may turn into that. Awesome. But it might just be really private, just for you and God. So use what you have on hand. use what you're comfortable with, or go out on a limb, try some new things if it inspires you. If it intimidates, don't do it. Do something different. So you could use something as simple as just your regular 3x5 note card. They also make them with no lines on them, and they make them in different colors. I have bought this set of cards a couple times. They have different color envelopes and a really sturdy one-sided card. I make birthday cards for my nieces and nephews with those. We've done lots of different things, but they hold up really well to different media. So if you want something a little bigger, you get something this size. I have chosen, because I have this deck that has been sitting around for a few years. I was going to do all these artist trading cards with people, and the whole thing never developed. So I had these sitting on hand. I don't think there's 75 in here anymore, but I'm pretty sure there's probably at least 52 in here. And I like the shape. I like that they're small. I like the corners. So this is, and it is very thick. It's a little bit thicker than these. Way thicker than the note cards here. So I'd suggest if you do it with a smaller card, if you like using anything with water, like watercolors or mixed media, if you want to glue layers on, like a collage or something, or use any kind of paint, I would say make sure that you are getting a sturdy card, so like watercolor, multimedia, cardstock kind of thickness. I've got this set linked in the Amazon shopping cart, just for your convenience. I wanted mine all to be the same size so that I could, when I get this whole thing all finished, I can get a box or something for them, or I can bind them with bookbinders tape into a little booklet for myself. You could be like my sister, who likes to keep things in clips, and get one of those really big binders. I don't think I need, I think that's more than 50. But you could clip them for yourself. You could someday, like when you get them all done, I just thought of this as I'm explaining this to you, that if you get one of these binder clips, this can also act as like a stand. And you could set them up in your house, and you could have the name visible, like in your kitchen counter or something, your windowsill, on your desk, and be looking at it that way. So a couple different options for what to do with it when you are finished with this project. Another thing you can do is get a hole puncher and just punch your holes. I'll demonstrate with this. So you'll punch your hole wherever you want it. And then as time goes by, use the previous one as the template so that you put the hole in the same spot on each card. And then you could put a ribbon, twine, or you can get those metal rings. I think I've gotten them at the hardware store before. They clasp and unclasp, so you can keep adding new ones, and you can get them in all sorts of different sizes. But that way you could keep them around and around. You could open it up and take one out. So that's another option for you. Sorry, I don't have one to demonstrate right now, but I'm hoping that came through. So that's the cards and a little bit of binding supplies. The ones I've got on my desk right now, I've got some acrylic markers. I really like Inktense, and you can get them as pencils or as blocks. And I don't have those with me right now. They act a lot like watercolors, but once they dry, they stay fixed. So you can add other layers without the first layer reactivating. So that's a nice thing there about the Inktense. Watercolors. I think I got this one from a garage sale years ago. It works, you know. It's nothing fancy. You could use the kid set of watercolors as well. That will work fine. You could get Neocolor water-soluble crayons. And the fun things about Inktense and the Neocolors is you can draw with them and then add water to activate them, or you can get your brush wet and brush right on there and use it like paint. One thing with the Neocolors is they've got some wax in them, so if you try to use a pen over them, it's gonna resist that a bit. You could use gel crayons, you could use permanent markers, you could use colored pencils. One thing I would suggest with this idea of having a card deck that you're gonna flip through from time to time and be handling a bit is to not use, like, unless you have a good workable fixative and varnishing spray, I would steer clear probably from anything that's like chalk based, like charcoal, anything kind of chalky that will keep smudging. I'd also avoid anything oil based like oil pastels or oil paints because they take so long to dry. If you haven't used gouache before, this might be a fun project to test it out with. It's kind of a terrific paint, and you can get it in basic starter sets that are small, inexpensive, and you can get a big box, which I've recently cleaned up my studio and I can't find it right now. But I gifted myself a big set for my birthday this last year and have not opened it yet. So that might be a box you see me pulling out later. But acrylic paints would work as well. I would not use oils. Those take a long time to dry, unless you're making like little canvases that you want to hang up on your wall or something. Anyway, I hope that gives you a good idea of some of those supplies. Also, you could consider these things like a palette knife, paintbrushes, something for your water, pencils and pens. If you like collage, scissors, glue, and you might use stick glue. Some people have good luck with that. I don't. You can just use regular school glue. I would not use Mod Podge. That seems to be shiny and keeps sticking to things. That has been my experience with Mod Podge, unless you sprayed it with workable fixative afterwards to take that shine and tackiness out of it. Another glue source that people like to use with collage is matte medium, and definitely go for the matte finish of any glue that you're using. And collage papers, you'll see me using those lots. So you can print them off the internet, you can use scratch pieces of paper from other projects, you can use your junk mail, magazine images, construction paper, advertisements. I think this is actually from like a small candy box. It was going between the layers of chocolate. This is the inside of an envelope. All sorts of things. So let God engage and inspire your creativity. Don't be afraid to look at things differently than other people might. Like I said, I use junk mail a ton. One man's trash, another man's art, right? As I'm looking around my desk, also, you might want to use some alphabet stamps, or I have this idea of maybe doing all my words with gold leaf. So I have a little gold leaf set that I put on the Amazon list that includes the adhesive, some gold leaf. It's really fun. You can get it in slightly different colors. This one has like silver, rose, gold, bronze. You got to keep that under wraps or it gets all over. I have a gilding brush that comes with that set that I keep in the box so that I'm never tempted to use it for anything else. You can also buy this gold wax that you could put on with a brush. Oh, and speaking of things that kind of go all over, you could use glitter glue or glitter, whatever strikes your fancy, however God leads you. Well, now that you see my crazy supply desk, again, don't feel overwhelmed. Use what you like, use what inspires you, use what's on hand. And I will see you in the next video where we start our very first card with the very first name of God that we want to focus on for this year.